Welcome to Confessions of a Stenographer, where we will focus on all things steno and the state of our profession. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Shaunise Day, founder of Steno in the City and founder of this podcast. Good morning, steno lovers. We are now on episode 3. I hope you all are spreading the word to colleagues about this free podcast that was designed just for you. Our podcast is currently on the top platforms for podcasting. We are on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, and the #1 channel for podcasting, and that's iHeartRadio. Keep spreading the word about our Steno podcast. We are stronger in numbers. I am excited to announce our next fabulous certified stenographer. This Steno Boss Baby is from the state of Michigan. I had the pleasure of meeting her at my Steno in the City weekend in Washington, D.C. She is a triple threat, and what I mean by that, she is a mom, wife, and has her steno career all together. She is doing much more, but I will let her share the deeds on that. Steno lovers, give it up for Shacara Mapp. Welcome, Shacara. How are you? Are you ready to confess?
Hi, Shaunise. I'm doing well. And yourself? Yes, I am.
Okay. So, steno lovers, this next episode, episode 3 with Shacara, we are going to talk about balancing the work and family life as a freelancer. Shacara, I thank you for doing this episode with me. And do you mind telling us a little bit about your background before discovering steno?
Yes. First off, I want to thank you for asking me to join the podcast with you. So before discovering steno, I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. So through school, I focused on classes that would help me in that field. I took advanced placement and honor classes in high school, got accepted to 9 different colleges, and then that summer had a little too much fun and found out I would soon become a mom. So once I had my son, obviously my goals changed. It would take me anywhere from 12 to 14 years to be a pediatrician specializing in cardiology. And I knew that my baby depended on me, and I had to change career field. I looked for something else, didn't quite know what I wanted to do yet. My now husband, who was then my boyfriend at the time, we moved out into the suburbs because once we found out we had a child growing up in Detroit, we knew what that came with. We didn't want our own son to have to experience some of those things. And that's how I learned about court reporting once I moved to the suburbs.
Wow. I'm just smiling, just listening to you because, we had a chance to sit down and get to know each other at the Steno in the City weekend. And you are just one amazing person. And I can't wait, as we get into the interview, you get to just share your story. So you found out about stenography and in schooling. Did you attend a brick and mortar or did you do online schooling?
So I was at home. I worked 6 days a week, and I was off. There was a commercial that came on television about a brick-and-mortar school called the Academy of Court Reporting. And I saw the little machine on TV. Didn't quite know what it was, but I had a typewriter growing up as a kid, and I loved to type. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to call this school, see what it's about, see if I like it, and maybe this is the field that will help me to take care of my child. Needless to say, I went to the brick-and-mortar, saw this machine that was unknown to mankind in my eyes. And I'm like, this isn't the typewriter that I know. I don't think this is for me. And needless to say, I signed up that day with the brick and mortar because I saw it as a challenge.
Right. And so you were working full-time and going to school at the same time, and you had a child?
Yes.
Wow. Did you have a support system while getting through school? What was that like?
So I have a very supportive family, but my 2 biggest supporters through court reporting school was my dad and my husband, DeAndre. My dad, he would always tell me, you can do whatever you want to do, and no matter how hard it is, I'll back you and I'll help you when I can. And so DeAndre at the time started working 2 jobs to help me try to pay for books and things for school. And if I felt tired, I felt like I couldn't practice, he would tell me, I'm tired, I had a long day, but I'm going to stay up with you and I'll read to you so you can practice. My dad didn't quite understand the speech, but he did the same. He would have phone conversations around me so that I could practice while he spoke. And at one point, I got really sick from balancing a 6-day full-time work and a 5-day school week with a newborn who I was also nursing when I could or at the pump. So I had to take off work, and my dad actually helped my husband to pay our bills so that I could focus on school.
What better way to have a partner that, basically down with teamwork to help you, further your education and get through this program, because as a lot of us know, this isn't a program at all, an easy program to get through. You finished court reporting in 15 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So with your support system, you were able, and a newborn, a baby, you got through in 15 months. And I commend you on that, because that is unbelievable. It's possible, but you did the unthinkable. And you started real time right out of school. Is that correct?
Thank you for that. And yes, I did. Nervously, but yes, I did.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that? Because, a lot of students, that's a special gift, Shacara. That is something special. So do you want to tell us how did that come to be? Do you consider yourself a natural writer, or you were just extremely focused and determined to get out of school? Tell us about your practice. How did you practice? I know the new professionals and the students, they want tips from you on what can they do to enhance their practice or whatever they're doing to get through school.
Okay, so yes, I did finish school early, but it was due to determination and focus and the drive to just want to succeed and not give up.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I've been told I was a natural, but I don't think it's just I'm a natural. I just think I was so disciplined because I knew I had a little life who depended on me. And so in my mind, it's like, no, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my son. I cannot afford to be in school for 3 or 4 years. I already missed his first steps. I missed his first words, which my husband said, was mom or mama. But he would record those things and send it to me. So that was my motivation to want to get out, to be able to spend time with my baby and not miss those big moments. I practiced 7 days a week for hours a day. I worked, as I said, a full-time job, 8 hours a day. I was a telemarketer at Hanson's Windows and Siding. So I would sneak my machine to work, put it under my desk, and write everything that was said around me, to me, about me, in my presence, just to help me practice. If I was at home and someone had the television on, I would practice. If I was on a phone call, I wasn't being rude, but I was more focused on school. So I was maybe 10% of listening to what you were actually saying and 90% of just trying to get down what you were saying on the other end on my machine. I believe it was my 20th or my 21st birthday, my husband and my mom and my dad decided they wanted to throw me a surprise party. Mm-hmm. They were upset because they had a house full of people, and I'm like, yeah, everyone needs to either leave or you can just go outside and enjoy your time, but I'm close to graduation and I need to practice. Like, the best birthday gift I could have is you letting me practice or dictate to me, and, it shows me that you care. So my mom had a barbecue, everyone was outside, and I was in the house writing on my machine, and my husband got upset with me. He's like, we had this big party for you. Everyone's here to celebrate you, and you won't get off your machine. And so practice was just everything to me. I was 100% dedicated, as I still am. I'll have conversations, and if I don't have my machine, I'm air writing. Mm-hmm. If I'm watching TV and I hear a word I've never heard, I'll hurry up and write it down, go grab my machine, practice, or try to put it into my dictionary and work on it. So I just say practice is everything. Make sure you're practicing, even if it's not obviously to the extent of me practicing hours a day and doing your birthday party and things like that. Make sure you practice, because no matter how good you are, you can always be better. As far as going into real-time write-out, I did my intern as I set out with a freelancer. I set out with an actual official, and I realized with my baby and with school and work, I was already missing out on his life. I didn't want to miss out, being stuck in court. So I set out with Lisa Kern, who is a cart provider here, and she asked me to come to the college and study in on some classes with her. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. I was very scared. I was nervous. I had never done it. I was afraid of being judged by my writing. And her very first day sitting out with me, she's like, you're a phenomenal writer. You know, you're still in school and your writing's almost perfect. And I told her how much I practiced. I would Google words daily. I would Google science class, social studies, any type of class, and just go through the whole dictionary and work on words. I would take a day a week and edit my actual dictionary in my software. It was just, I felt like it was my third love. My husband was first, then my baby came, and then court reporting. And then after sitting out with her for a few months, I was in my last semester of school, and she called me, and she's like, hey, I have a class. Do you think you could help me cover it? I thought she meant sitting out with her again. I'm like, yeah, no problem. You know, she's like, no, I want you to actually work. Even though I was still in school, I had finished all of my speed classes. I just had to still take some main courses to be able to graduate. And she's like, you're done with your speed. I think you're ready. I want you to do it. I was so afraid to do it. And once I started, I fell in love. And it wasn't about the work anymore. It was about the bonds and the relationships I built through court reporting, through CART, and with my students. At that point, it was like, I'm making a huge difference. Those who can't hear, I'm able to hear for them. I'm able to, you know, actually let them be a part of what's going on in the real world in real time. And I became really good friends with some of my students because it lasted over years. And I've had students where they graduated and their parents have called me, you know, and told me, I really appreciate you. You went above and beyond your CART duties. When you weren't on the clock, you stayed to make sure my child understood what was going on. You helped them with homework when you didn't have to. You made sure they understood everything, and if they didn't, you made sure to question what it was that they weren't understanding so they could. And so when they went on to further their careers, they would have their new companies actually call me so that I could provide CART at their work meetings and business meetings. So it was something even to this day I still do. I'm a freelancer, but CART is my love. So it's something I do twice a week just to keep it going.
Right. Shacara, I must give it up to you because you are an extraordinary woman, stenographer, through determination and discipline and just being focused. And you had a baby and working. You got through this program. And then not only that, you know, you just mentioned, you know, your CART and providing CART and building relationships. You're fabulous. You are all of that. Family, you're welcome. So with family life, how do you balance your work and family life? Can you share your day-to-day duties and how you maintain it all? You also are involved in the boys' sport. And steno lovers, let me just say, if you're not, you know, following her, I want you guys to get to know her because she's amazing. And her boys, they are adorable. She's also a sports mom, so she's doing it all. So Shacara, let's talk about your family life and how, you know, how that balance plays out.
So balance? I don't know if I want to use that word.
Okay.
I don't think I balance it. I think I just I just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I love being a mom and wife more than anything, obviously. But court reporting is definitely up there. As I said, you know, it's my third love. So I do have 3 boys who are all involved in sports. Everything from baseball, football, horseback riding, track, wrestling. I now have my middle son who's doing robotics. We've done swim lessons. We just a little bit of everything. My middle one also wants to start soccer next weekend. And so my priority is to always put them first and let them know, you know, this career is what allows you to do these things. So, yes, mommy will have to take time for herself, but it doesn't come before you. So I always make sure, you know, I have had to miss a practice or two, but I have never missed an event due to work. I've never missed a game, a recital, even when my oldest one was in gymnastics. You know, I've never missed anything. We definitely have to spread it thin over here because there's times that we have 2 events going at once. I had one doing t-ball and one doing football. Our t-ball season ran over due to weather. So the final game of t-ball, I went to t-ball. My husband took our oldest to the football practice. Then I went to the baseball banquet. My husband took the oldest ones to their games, and then I met them there once we left baseball. So we do have to kind of, spread ourselves thin to make sure we get to everything. But there have been plenty of times where maybe the boys had to be somewhere a little earlier than I could get there. My husband would just make sure to step in, and he made sure a beat was never missed. I've never missed a field trip, a sporting event, or anything. I've always volunteered at every single field trip. I am a 8-hour-a-day volunteer mom on football days. We're usually there from 9 to 6 or 9 to 7 sometimes even, between setup, games, running concessions, cleanup, takedown, and celebration. But the joy in this field is I have that flexibility of picking my schedule. Mm-hmm. I am a freelance writer as well as CART. So I do CART on school days, Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 2. My boys are in school, so I never have to worry about, hey, I have to work and I have to miss something. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, occasionally Tuesday and Thursday when I'm not teaching, because I teach it as well, teach court reporting as well, then I'll take an afternoon or evening depth. So I can say, hey, I can't come in today. Prime example, yesterday morning, I had to volunteer at my son's school. Thursday, I called the office and let them know I can't work tomorrow morning. I have to volunteer, but I'm available anytime after 2. And so I definitely make it work, and I work for an awesome, awesome company where he's 100% a family man as well. So he always tells us, family comes first, and then this comes second. If you need me to adjust anything, I'll do so, because he's a dad of 3 boys as well, so he understands. And so it works where I have had to take my laptop with me to games and to practices. So I'm there, but if I have a deadline to meet, I do have to take my laptop sometimes, and I'm sitting in my car for 2 hours of practice working on a transcript, but my boys don't mind because at least they know Mom's there.
Right.
So, it's awesome. I would not trade it. I love this field because I do have that flexibility of not missing anything. There's lots of days where I'm up at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., so I can work on transcripts before my boys get up. So when they get up, I can give them my undivided attention. Their bedtime is 8:30 on the nights that I don't teach, because I usually teach until 9. When I don't teach, I'll come home. I'll put them in bed, make sure they've ate dinner. My husband usually already has them bathed and school clothes laid out, and I'll work on transcripts until sometimes as late as 1:30, 2 a.m. But I want to make sure that when they're up, they have my undivided attention, but they do understand sometimes I have deadlines that they do have to let mommy work.
Right. I think that is just so amazing how, you and DeAndre, you guys, this is a team. You guys have that teamwork and a plan in place. So, you're not missing out on those awesome things. And volunteering, like, that is just, I just think that is just so good of you, because not only are you serving your sons, you're serving, the other teammates as well. So I give all props to you. What are the best tips that you can give to moms out there that's trying to figure it all out? And do you set aside time just for yourself?
So as far as setting aside a time for myself, I don't get much time to myself, I will admit, but that's by choice. Mm-hmm. Because I am an overly involved mom. So the times that I can set aside, I'm like, no, let me call up to the school and see if they need a volunteer today. My boys don't play sports for their schools, but I still volunteer at the school's volleyball and basketball games, because there's a lot of parents who do not have the flexibility of being able to change their schedule and make it to their kids' games. They can't volunteer, and then the school is short-staffed. So I choose not to have time for myself because I'm in the point of where I still enjoy all of this time with my kids, and I know that time will pass by quick, and I'll miss these days. As far as for, like, the new moms or the new reporters, just remember, you're not a horrible mom. You're not a bad mom. And I had to learn that. I felt awful. I felt like I was missing out on all important things, and my kid would hate me or resent me for it. Instead, he always tells me, especially my oldest, because he was the one who was with me through it all, he'll say, Mom, you're the best mom. I know sometimes you're tired, but you work hard, and that's why I get to do the things I do. That's how I went to private school. That's how I get to do the things I do and take the trips I take, because you and Daddy work hard, even if you are tired. And there's times he'll come home. He's like, Mom, hey, do you have, he gets excited. He's like, do you have transcripts? Can I help with exhibits? Can I pass you the exhibits? Can you show me how to edit transcripts? Can I help you proofread? And my 5-year-old wants to learn the keyboard. So it makes it fun because I get to involve them in my work, so then they don't feel like I'm just putting my work before them. But always remember that the sacrifices you're making is not for you, it's for your baby. So, yeah, it may seem hard at first. It may seem like, oh, my gosh, I'm not seeing my babies, or I'm missing out on opportunities to be with them. But in the end, it's so worth it. And once you're done with school and your career gets started, you'll have the option to say, okay, I'm not working on these days. I'm going to be with my kids. And once I hit the point financially where I feel like I'm okay to take these times off and take these days off, I promise to my kids, especially in the summer, we'll take a trip once a month. I don't care if it's a weekend trip to Chicago, which is only a few hours away, but you have to get put to the back burner a little sometimes, especially for expedites and rough drafts and things of that nature. So this is my way of thanking you for being patient with Mommy as well. And, as moms, we just have to find time where you can balance it. Like I said, I do it when my kids are asleep. If you have to wake up an extra hour or two, you do it so that when your kids do wake up, you're able to fully interact with them and help them. At night, you may be exhausted. I'll drink a Coca-Cola or I'll have a cappuccino sometimes at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night just to give me that boost of energy I need. And that way I can get work done. And then when my kids wake up, I'm fully devoted to them.
Right. Goodness, you're just, and for you to say that you involve your kids with, marking exhibits, now that is the first, and that is an excellent idea because you're still getting that quality time and you're involving them within your work.
My sister-in-law just started court reporting school as well, and that's why it came up, because she asked me that, like, well, how do you balance it? And I even told her, which I did this with my older two, I would have my kids read to me as well. Even when they were learning to read and I couldn't even understand some of it, I would write it because it made them feel like, oh, I'm teaching Mommy. I'm helping Mommy become a better reporter. And my older two would argue. I would write down their argument. Instead of breaking it up, as long as there was no physical, if they would argue, and, they're 3 years apart, so it's not like it's very tense or, dire arguments, but they would go back and forth. You hit me, I didn't. You said this, no, you didn't. I would write it down, and then I would have them come look at it. I'm like, this is what you said, and Mommy wrote it down. And they would think it was funny and make little sounds and say things just so I could write it. So it's always a way to involve the kids to make them feel a part of it as well.
Right. So, yeah, you're very creative because I've never even, thought of that or... I mean, who would think? I wonder if there are any other moms out there that actually does that. Let the kids argue. Don't interrupt as long as it's a healthy argument. And then you're taking down. You're taking it down and then reading it back. That is just so cool.
I may not get Mom of the Year, but...
Right. No, you definitely get Mom of the Year, Stenographer of the Year, Friend of the Year. Okay. Do you have any favorite steno must-have gadgets?
So must-have for me, obviously, because I am in real time, is iPad. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest thing. I have 4 iPads. And whether I'm doing real time or not, I still take iPads with me because it's good to always try to upsell real time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes an attorney, they may not know they need it until you suggest it, and then they know they can't go without it. I've had attorneys who've never, ever had real time, and because I always keep iPads on, I'm like, hey, let me set this up. And I learned this from a veteran reporter as well. Let me set this up for you. You let me know what you think about it. We'll go maybe for so many minutes, and, if you like it, I'll keep it up, and there'll be an upcharge. And, I can't believe I've been an attorney this long and never used it. So that is definitely my go-to. Mm-hmm. My microphone, obviously, to make sure I have audio backup, because things do happen. My case has audio, but as reporters, we know audio isn't always reliable, and which is why we're the first defense of taking down the record, because your audio can stop. And I've had it happen. I've had in my case, software, the audio that usually goes with the words, it would just stop syncing and it just would stop recording altogether. So always have backup. And also, there was a speaker that a veteran reporter gave me. I don't remember exactly what the name of it, but it's like an external speaker just to help so that, to enhance the sound, and noise blocker headphones. Obviously, I'm a mom, so when I'm editing transcripts, I will put them on and I block out all sounds, including my 3 lovely children, and I'll continue to work. So those are like the 3 biggest things for me, and make sure you always have like external hard drives. Like you can never have too many backups, too much external storage, so I always make sure to have that.
Okay. And I'm going to have to look into the noise canceling headphones. I'm going to add that to my list. Just to go back and just to confirm and set the record straight, because we will have veteran reporters say, the mention of audio and how they do not use audio backup. I'm just confirming that your audio, you don't need the audio backup. It's just a backup just in case. But you are a stellar stenographer who can write without audio and go back and read back what you've written, right?
Oh yeah. So audio is just kind of like I said, as a backup. I'm usually always asked to do real time or read back. I had one attorney, since I've been doing reporting, I had one attorney. We were in the middle of a death. There were 7 attorneys, so it was obviously an awesome writing day for me. It was 7 attorneys, and I was asked to read back. And I'm thinking they meant maybe the last question, maybe the last answer. He said, no, I want you to read back starting from where this witness began to be questioned by said attorney, which was 4 pages back. I read back the entire 4 pages up to the point of where we were. To this day, I still get requests from that attorney because he said he's never had to ask the reporter to do such a thing and have her read back perfectly. So, yes, audio is definitely just something because, like I said, I have had things go down. I had a computer crash in the middle of a job. So when it crashes, I no longer have that file or anything else. So that audio was nice to have if I needed it. But luckily, because of my Luminex, I was, the job stored onto my machine. But it was nice just to have that. Also, I've had an attorney try to dispute something in a transcript. And I'll tell him, no, this is what you said. And he'll argue me tooth and nail, no, I didn't. And we've had a request where, the owner of our firm has contacted me, like, we are not going to send him audio, but I just want to listen so that I can back you and say, no, this is what you said. And so in that instance, yeah, the audio did work in my favor. But I wouldn't suggest depending on it because if you depend on audio, then, at that point, you're kind of second-guessing your own skill as a reporter because I depend on my skill more so than the audio itself.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Taking the limits off and becoming real time. So do you have any tips for any colleagues who aren't providing real time? They've been reporting for years and, they're just not ready. What tips can you give them? Would you say, start off by real timing for yourself just to build that confidence up?
So I would always say real time for yourself no matter what. Mm-hmm. And if you've been reporting for years, you're missing out if you aren't real timing. Because, you're doing the same job for less money because you're not real timing. And I know it is, trust me, I know it's scary because I had done CART for 7 years, but when I went into real time legally for depositions and conventions and things of that nature, I was horrified. I was nervous. I was shaking as if I had not been a real time writer for 7 years. But I always set up, even if it's just for myself, set it up. And if you already have the endurance, work on the translations, work on making sure your dictionary is everything. Like I said, I go through once a week and just, clear out my dictionary, add words, delete words. Anytime I hear a new word, put it in. If you're on a job, continuously set up that iPad because then you'll see for yourself where your mistakes are, where you need to work at, and what you can do to improve. But if you continuously build your dictionary and practice to everything live, then, you can prepare. And that's how I prepared. I didn't take real-time courses. I literally prepared from everyday scenarios. I watched TV. I did phone conversations. I would write to the newspaper. But no matter what, I build my dictionary continuously. And that's the key to real time, is having your translation. So dictionary building is like number one if you feel you already have the speed.
Right. Do you brief? Are you big on briefing?
Oh, I'm huge on briefing. I am a briefer on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I try to brief as much as I can. As I said, I teach court reporting, so that's something I'm always pushing to my students, because I try to help them so that when they're coming out of school, they're coming out real-time ready. So, I tell them all the time, write as if everything is a test. There's times where I may not even tell them it's a test. I'll just say, okay, space up. We're going to start a new dictation. And then when I'm done, I'll say, okay, that was a test. Let's see how you did. Because I want to test your real-time skills, not if you can go back and edit and figure it out later. So briefing is everything. Brief on the fly, and then I do real-time commands, so I define right from my machine. Mm-hmm. So then if something does come out untranslated, I'll fix it. And I had an attorney, it was a real-time case. He was from Washington, D.C., and in the middle of the record, and I asked him if he wanted me to go off, and he told me no. He's like, I want to put this on the record. You are a phenomenal reporter, and I'm not used to seeing reporters where they actually edit the transcript during the transcript. He's like, anytime I see something, if it doesn't come out right, I look again, and now it's corrected. And he's like, how are you doing that? And you're not taking your hands off your machine. And he was like so impressed, because he's like, you're fixing everything right away, and there's not much to fix. And he's like, some names I didn't even think you would know how to spell, and you spelled them correctly. So briefing is everything, and then that way you can just fix it right away. Mm-hmm. But what I tell my students is, in order to remember that brief, you have to continuously practice that brief. You can't just come up with it and then leave it. In order for it to stick with you, you have to continuously use it.
Right. Okay, Shacara, we are going to take a break for our Steno news that you can use. Steno news that you can use. We have for the month of February the NCRA Business Summit that will take place February 9th through February 11th in August, Texas at the Hyatt Regency Lost Pines Resort. If you're interested in finding out more information about the summit, you can head on over to NCRA's website and check for the last minute registration and the full schedule. So I know this next Steno news that you can use, it's for all of us. It's the Court Reporting and Captioning Week that will take place February 8th through 15th. I want us all to get ready and start prepping now so we can promote our profession like crazy. Now is the time to spread the word and get the public involved on what we do. You can go on to NCRA's website for templates that you can customize to your liking. You can also share on how you celebrated the week by sending your stories to pr@ncra.org. As I stated a few episodes ago, this is the year for certification. The online skills test registration will open February 1st through February 20th. So go ahead and register. And the skills test, you'll be able to test from March 1st through March 20th. Again, that was your Steno news that you can use. Promoting and protecting the profession. What are you doing to promote Steno?
Okay, so a few years back, I started doing high school career fairs and college career fairs. And I volunteered literally any school. I don't care if it's elementary, middle, high, college. Anyone that shows interest or is willing to at least let us show the students what they're missing, then I am all for it. I am also one of the volunteer instructors with the A to Z program here in Michigan. And I am in the process right now of working with an attorney and a graduate law student to try to prepare some mock trials so that we can introduce court reporting to the inner city schools in Detroit. Mm-hmm. As I said, I'm from Detroit. It was something that was never introduced to us, something I never heard of. As I know of, they still aren't doing it. I've even contacted the Michigan Chronicle because they did a career fair with the police and legal department, and there were no court reporters listed. So trying to see if we can get on board with that, as well as go to the schools in Detroit to actually promote it, because we have some talented children and individuals in Detroit that just don't realize the gift that they may have for this field. And it's one of those things where they don't know if they are not introduced or don't even understand this field is out there. So that's something that I'm taking a part of right now, and we're still trying to organize that. And like I said, it's just, I don't know, it's just anything, any type of promotion I can do. If I can talk to someone at a restaurant and try to recruit, I will. My dad has passed out flyers at his job. He's a truck driver, and I've given him flyers for A to Z programs and just promoting and explaining what Steno is. I've had my husband tell people. My brother works at Chrysler, and he's had people at his job contact me about court reporting. So I am always promoting, and now I am also a part of the Protect Your Record project. So I am, we're having our first meeting actually Wednesday with the Michigan reporter, so I'm excited about that to see how we can further promote to get more people interested in our wonderful, wonderful field.
Right. So as I told the listeners earlier, I met you at Steno in the City in D.C., right? I had no idea what it was going to be like. I just, I didn't know, who was going to show up when, I was putting it together, but I just knew that I was going to do it for the good of the profession. So on the first night, we had our mixer. And then the second day, our networking mixer on Friday. On Saturday, we created the PSA. We put together a PSA to promote the profession. If you go on YouTube and you put in court reporting or stenography, it would be these outdated videos. So I took it upon myself to say, okay, it's time to create some new material. And then on Saturday, we also had the brunch. And then we also went to the African American Museum. I'm going to play a quick soundbite of something that you said. And when I said, when you said these words to me, I knew at that point that even if only one person showed up, that I had did the right thing with putting this event together. So, and I think I listened to this clip like about 50 million times because Shacara, I wasn't expecting it. Okay, Steno lovers, here is Shacara.
I just want to say first off, Shaunise, thank you for planning this event. I feel like I have literally gained sisters and brothers over this weekend. This has been an experience I am blessed to have been a part of. I don't feel like it was something that I wanted to do. I feel like it was something I was needed to do. I didn't come here by choice. I was led here. And I am truly grateful for all the experiences, all of the knowledge I've gained, the wisdom, the advice, and the lifelong friendships that I hopefully have gained from this. And let's have fun.
Okay, Shacara, so with that message, you said that you were led to come to DC. Can you give the listeners just really quick and short, what did you get out of Steno in the City?
Oh, my gosh. What didn't I get out of Steno in the City? For starters, to me, the most important thing I got out of that was a sisterhood. Like I said, I was a young mom, so I didn't get to go to the university like I wanted. So I've always wanted to become a part of a sorority, and I felt like with court reporting, with the women I connected with on that trip, I had that, and I got that day. And the networking, oh my gosh, the networking was phenomenal. You had attorneys there, veteran reporters present and remote, giving advice, giving their stories, and just the inspiration that came out of talking to everyone in that room. I felt like it was an emotional empowerment in that moment because, I'm like, here I am. I think I'm good. I don't feel like I'm great because I can always be better, but I think I'm a pretty good reporter. But I didn't feel like I could stand toe-to-toe with some of the legends I got to meet or at least hear from even remotely at your event. And a lot of those people who I spoke with who had been cart riding, freelancing, officials, captioners, it was phenomenal to meet everyone. And I felt like that no matter how content you may be or how content you are with where you are, you can always be greater. And that was like the big takeaway for me because even the greatest reporters who have been doing it 30, 40 years said they don't stop practicing. They don't stop wanting to achieve higher. So for me, I was happy at one point with having my CSR. after walking away from Steno in the city, I'm like, no, this is, nothing compared to the people who I surrounded myself with at this event. And so now I'm like, okay, I need my RPR and I need my CRR and my RMR. And I feel like now I just need everything. And it's not about having it to say, okay, I have it. But like they said, that is how you compete in this field. And it's also just for self-knowledge and for self-motivation and self-inspiration and just self-growth to have those things that make you feel I've accomplished a lot in this field and I can give back so much from the things I've gained. So I feel like I want to be a part of that club, the, 9 and 12 letters behind my name club. So just listening to the best reporters in our field and how much they practice, and it made me feel like I wasn't practicing enough. And I think I practiced quite a bit, but I'm like, I'm not even practicing enough. Continual practice is key. Networking and making those connections are key, capitalized in quote, in this field. You can be a good reporter by yourself, but you'll be a great reporter with the right connections and the right people backing you.
Yes.
And that was the thing that I learned there. And no one felt, hey, I'm better than you. It's no, I'm here. Let me help you to get there as well.
Right. So you just confirmed that, Steno in the city was a great thing. I'm still on a high from it because I can't believe, here it was just an idea that I had. I had no idea that it would turn out the way it did. So I'm still just like in awe. So I thank you for attending. I do. Most importantly, I'm just so grateful for, our friendship, our sisterhood. I love you. You are amazing. Before we wrap up, I just have a few more questions for you. Without giving exact figures, since we aren't allowed to discuss rates due to the antitrust laws, and I'll get into that later because I feel a certain type of way. My thing is we aren't supposed to, discuss rates or just anything pertaining to figures. But then you have these new reporters getting out of school who don't, especially freelancers. How are they supposed to know what's a good rate and not a good rate? Do we have to let them go through all of these bad firms to figure it out or to assume? So we'll get into that. And, I have to be careful due to the antitrust laws, but I have a strong opinion about it.
I agree 100%.
Right. Mm-hmm. So are you comfortable with your salary financially? Has this profession been good to you?
I would say good is an understatement. This profession has been great to me. My first year, not saying this will happen for everyone, but my first year in the freelance world, I did hit 6 figures. And part of that I do attribute to my 7 years of CART. So I was able to come right out the gate into real time into freelance, which also gave me that extra boost.
Right.
But yeah, my first year as a freelancer, we bought a new house, we got a new car, we took our first cruise. Obviously with you guys, of course.
Yes. Wait, can we just pause really quick? So for you guys don't know, Charisse and Lori, they arranged a cruise for stenographers. And when I tell you we had an amazing time, we first started off, a few of us and Shacara. And I remember you had your pages to get out the way. So you went ahead and got your pages done before we could turn up. So we were in Miami first. We had an amazing time in Miami. And then that cruise was just amazing. If I say amazing one more time,
I feel like that's just the word to describe it.
Right, but that cruise was on a different level. I walked away feeling rejuvenated, inspired, encouraged. and more importantly, ways on how to unify the industry, because it's divided, but it's coming back. I'm seeing a shift, and things are getting on an accord where, we're coming together and we're figuring out ways on how to become one team. So yeah, okay, sorry to cut you off. And you know how we do, because we're so passionate and we'll just go on and on and on. Yeah. But yes, okay, so you guys took the cruise, bought the home, and what else?
Got a new car, obviously got a lot of debts paid down, and so we had a lot more experiences. We take our regular trips, but we had even a lot more experiences. We took our kids to Disney World for Valentine's Day, and like all of this is within that year. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say this profession has been phenomenal.
Good. So for a new professional, can you name 3 important things that they must know before taking that first job?
First and foremost, make sure you know your software inside and out, as far as connecting, setting up everything, programming names, speaker banks, and things like that. Second, swearing in the witness. That was my, I think, biggest thing, and the thing I was most nervous about my first day is swearing in the witness. I was afraid of stumbling over my words or not saying the right word or offending someone, and we were told to take God out and things like that. So that obviously, is right up there, because you can't technically, legally, nothing the witness says is bound if they're not sworn in. So you have to make sure you do that properly, and just make sure you know how to put your transcript together and label your exhibit.
Okay. And just for those that don't know, how many years have you been reporting? Because you are a young professional. So how many years have you been reporting?
9 years as of January 12th of this year.
Okay, 9 years. Hey, what keeps you motivated to get out there and be the best stenographer that you can be on a daily basis?
My boys, of course. Without my boys, I feel like maybe I would not have been as motivated. And the reporters that have come before me, who I look up to, and the reporters who I am currently teaching, who I know that are coming after me. I have to continuously do my best so that they can see this is what I want to strive to be like, as well as the reporters who have come before me. They motivate me to say, this is who I want to be like.
Right. Any words or words of advice or comments that you would like to share with our listeners?
Yes. If you're a student, if you're a new reporter, just remember, we all have rough days. We all have had rough patches. Do not give up, and do not doubt yourself. Self-doubt can be the worst thing. So always encourage yourself. If you feel like you're down on yourself, make sure if you don't have that support system at home, you find a support buddy in school. You find one on our Facebook groups. You email us. You send a messenger, exchange your phone number. Come to networking events. Go to conventions. Go to meetings. Go to seminars. Go to lunches. Meet up with your Facebook friends on the court reporting site. Whatever you do, network, practice, and never give up.
Great advice, Shacara. Well, I just want to thank you so much for doing this. This was a really great interview, and I can't wait to play it back, and I can't wait to share it, with our profession, because, like I've told you before, who is Shacara Mapp? You're just this amazing woman, and it's time to bring you to the forefront. You are doing some amazing things in our profession behind the scenes, and it's time to let everybody know who you are. I love you, and, we got to get you out to California soon. Question, are you coming to Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll definitely talk about that. Well, I love you. I thank you for confessing. Hug the boys for me. Tell DeAndre I said hi, and, have a wonderful week, and go out there and be all that you can be. Thank you for
you as well, and thank you so much for asking me to do this, and thank you for everything you are doing for this profession. As I texted you earlier, you're a student right now, but you're so much more, because you are literally a voice and an advocate for this field. So I can just imagine, like, the steno world is going to be shaken for the greater good once you become the reporter, and the attorneys aren't even going to be ready for what you're about to give them. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you for confessing, and I will talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye. I would like to thank everyone that took the time out to check out this podcast. You are appreciated. This platform was designed for all of us. I am determined to continue to add value to our profession. If you have any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to hear on Confessions of a Stenographer, where we will focus on all things steno and the state of our profession, you can send an email to the stenopodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's the stenopodcast@gmail.com. Until then, stay encouraged and be inspired on solid ground with Steno. Goodbye.